Hi everyone, this is Dr. Avani Ratan. I'm your faculty at Conceptual Psychiatry and I'm here today to help you with the topic of Mindfulness-Based Cognitive Therapy, MBCT. Starting with the previous year question regarding MBCT was on writing a note on MBCT. So let's start with the basic definition. So MBCT, it is a therapeutic approach that helps people who are vulnerable to depression and to learn to process that experience without judgment as it arises. So it's like learning to observe your thoughts and feelings as passing clouds rather than getting caught into the storm. So if I ask you to imagine that you wake up feeling sad, so instead of spiraling into why am I always like this or I'm useless, MBCT teaches you to notice that I am experiencing sadness right now and it's a feeling that will pass. So this is a brief example of what MBCT is all about. Moving on to the origins and the development, the parents of MBCT, so mindfulness-based stress reduction, which is MBSR, was developed by John Kabat-Zinn. Now, the cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT for depression, developed by Aaron Beck. So here, it's a 2500-year Buddhist mindfulness tradition that we are going to look at today. And three researchers created MBCT. First is Zindel Segal from Toronto. Then there is Mark Williams from the UK and John Tisdale from Cambridge, UK. So moving on to the theoretical foundations of MBCT, let's start with understanding what is mindfulness. So mindfulness is awareness that emerges when we pay attention. So the attention is on purpose. We are deliberately choosing where to focus. We are in the present moment. We are not lost in the past or in the future. And we have a non-judgmental approach that we are accepting what is without criticism. Now, there are three core elements over here. The first is the awareness practices. So what comes under the awareness practices are body scan. Then there is sitting meditation. And mindful movement. Second is the attitudinal framework, which is kindness, curiosity, willingness to be present. And third is understanding vulnerability, learning how we create our own suffering. So here, learning how we create our own suffering. So it's like learning to drive. At first, you consciously notice everything, the mirrors, the pedals, the steering. With mindfulness, we are learning to consciously notice our thoughts and feelings with the same deliberate attention. So today, we will explore mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, commonly known as MBCT, one of the most influential third wave cognitive behavioral approaches, which was developed in the past few decades. Our focus will be to understand MBCT both theoretically and practically through the 30 distinctive features which are outlined by Rebecca Crane. So this lecture will systematically unpack how cognitive science, merges with mindfulness traditions and how it conceptualizes human suffering. and how it offers evidence-based mechanisms to prevent relapse in depression and other mental health conditions. So we are going to study about 30 features, and these features are given by Rebecca Crane somewhere around in 2009. Starting with the very first feature, which is known as the integration of mindfulness-based stress reduction and cognitive behavioral therapy. So MBCT, it is a synthesis of two powerful traditions, which is mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, developed by John Kabat-Zinn in the 1970s, and the cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, developed by Aaron and Beck and colleagues. So from MBSR, MBCT borrows the structure and the process. So it's an 8-week group-based program which integrates mindfulness meditation, gentle movement, and reflective discussion. So you need to keep in mind it is an 8-week program, right? So here, from CBT, it inherits the cognitive model of depression, which emphasizes how the maladaptive thinking patterns and the behavioral avoidance, it maintains the distress. So the MBCT program, it was developed specifically for individuals with recurrent depression. They were often taught while they are in remission. So its goal is not to eliminate the depressive thoughts, but to help the participants develop a new relationship with them. So one grounded in the awareness, in curiosity and compassion rather than judgment or avoidance. If I summarize it quickly, mindfulness provides the how, the experiential method of cultivating awareness, while CBT provides the why, the theoretical understanding of how thoughts influence emotions and behavior. So together they form a model that helps clients see thoughts as mental events rather than facts. Thus, it prevents the reactivation of the depressive cycles. Talking about the next feature, which is underpinned by the cognitive theory of vulnerability to depression. So let us now move to the theoretical foundation of it. So according to the cognitive theory of depression, individuals who have experienced multiple depressive episodes, they develop latent cognitive vulnerabilities. These are deeply ingrained patterns of thinking that lie dormant due wellness, and they reactivate under even mild stress or sadness, which is a process known as differential activation, right? So, differential activation is that that these deeply ingrained cognitive vulnerabilities, they remain dormant during the wellness, but they reactivate under even mild stress or sadness. So over time, these individuals, they form associative networks linking the low mood with negative beliefs about the self, about the world, and about the future. So this is the classic cognitive triad, right? So once it is triggered, the rumination and the avoidance, they feed into each other, deepening the relapse. So MBCT, it addresses this vulnerability through decentering. So we need to understand that this therapy works through decentering. Decentering is a core skill in which individuals, they learn to step back. They observe the thoughts and the feelings as passing mental events, not a reflection of the self or the truth. So in clinical terms, this shift allows the clients to move from I am worthless to I notice the thought that I am worthless. So this cognitive distance, it acts as a buffer against the relapse, turning awareness into prevention. Okay, moving on to the third feature, which is learning skills to reduce the risk of depressive relapse. So MBCT, it is not primarily about insight or intellectual understanding. It is skills-based learning. So the program teaches participants 4 essential capacities. 1. Stepping out of automatic ruminative patterns. So the clients practice bringing attention from the thoughts to